The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. This book is eerie. I mean, it all has the perfect ingredients for a horror story, this book. It's got a farm, a creepy villain, yeah, you name it. So what's the plot? So basically, you have this girl named Jody and her brother Mark, and they are spending the summer at their grandparents' farm, and they are looking forward to spending time with their grandparents because they like listening to Grandpa's scary stories, and they like Grandma's chocolate chip pancakes. Yeah, and you are introduced to the her hired hand Stanley, and he's like something's different about him upstairs. Let's just say. Yeah. So when they get to the farm, they notice like weird things, like Grandpa doesn't tell scary stories anymore. Grandma serves cornflakes for breakfast instead of chocolate chip pancakes. Yeah. And then Stanley, like, he's taken up superstition stuff. Like, he found this spell book, and one night Jody sees, like, the scarecrows in the cornfield supposedly moving from her bedroom window. Yeah. And it's kind of like a whodunit mystery. Like, like, there's like a suspect, like, is it Sticks, like Stanley's son? Yeah. Yeah. And then we later find out what's going on exactly. Let's just. And you get this huge climax involving evil scarecrows and fire. Let's just. Oh, and the twist at the end involves like a taxidermy bear that's in grandpa. That's in the grandparents' living room. Yeah, and that's essentially the Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. So the positives. I mean, I really like the atmosphere in this book. I mean, the whole farm setting and scarecrows. Like, I mean, granted, scarecrows can be scary at times, and the idea of being stalked and watched by evil scarecrows in the middle of the night in a cornfield is just scary. Let's just say, yeah. Another thing, like the yeah, as I said, this book has a great atmosphere, and it does kind of drag at times. The book, I'll admit, but not so much to the point like it gets boring. Yeah, and uh, the scarecrows. I mean, they're not the most threatening Goosebumps villains out there, but they get the job done. And another positive, I really like Tim Jacobus's cover, you know, with the scarecrow and the cornfield and the full moon up in the sky. Yeah, that's a really good, creepy and eerie cover. Yeah. Like the negatives. Let's get into the negatives of this book. As I said, the book does drag at times and it could get kind of boring. I mean, not boring to the point you want to quit reading it, but yeah, it's definitely one of the more slower paced Goosebumps books. Nothing wrong with a slow pace. It's just that what there is such a thing as too much slowness, like slow in a book. Yeah, and negatives like the scarecrows are defeated so easily. Like it kind of minimizes their threat level. Yeah, not to the point like you. I mean, they're still a threat, but yeah, it was kind of like that's it. Like they anyone could have done that. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. And once it's revealed that Stanley's the culprit, like he's responsible for all this, Like, yeah, and they don't take the spell book away from him, like, after all the trouble he caused them, or the very least fired him, like, fire him. Yeah. And it does make you wonder, why didn't they do that? Like, this guy literally put you through so much trouble, like, and you're just gonna let him go scot-free? Yeah. Like, yeah. That's pretty much it for that's all I have to say about The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. It's not one of the best Goosebumps books out there, nor is it one of the worst out there. It's just mediocre. Yeah. It's a mediocre book, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. So, thanks for watching and subscribe.